game
So,
to
man.
benefit Hurricane Harvey relief against Rutgers on November 5th. And here is Coach Mullin starting his third season. Well, Coach, everything, of course, has centered this preseason around the defensive and rebounding focus. Give the fans out there an update. Where would you say your team is in terms of progressing in those two key areas that could really swing your season?
I know one thing for sure is we're working on it.
Mhm.
It's been a big focal point of our drill portion of practice. I think we're going to continue to do that throughout the season. And you always got to do things according to your roster, right? So we're not the biggest, strongest team, but we do have length, athleticism, and quickness. So we might do it a little differently than your typical bulky box out rebound type guys, but I think it's still we can be effective, and they kind of go hand in hand. I've been on teams where you don't have to win the rebounding battle, but you can't give up a lot of offensive boards. And the way to combat that is being really efficient offensively, not turning the ball over, getting good shots. And if you play small and you play quick and athletic, you can give up a few rebounds here and there, but you can't get killed on the boards and turn the ball over. That's a recipe for disaster.
With the addition of a guy like Justin Simon in your backcourt, you have more depth, you have more size, you have more athleticism. Can you kind of give us an idea how that's going to look? I mean, it sounds like you may play all three together, Pons, Levette, and Simon. What kind of player is Simon, and what does he bring to your team?
Yeah, well, most people saw, Marcus and Shamari. They both had really good years last year, incredible years for freshmen, and they look the same, but they actually have very different games. And Justin is different than those two, so it's actually a nice fit, chemistry-wise, and their strengths work to each other's advantage, and their weaknesses they can cover up for each other. Justin's more of a pass first, slashing, attacking guard. Can really be disruptive on defense. Loves to play in the open floor. I think we can post him a bit. One thing I've been working on with Marcus and Shamari throughout the summer and into the preseason here is playing without the basketball, being really good screeners, really good cutters, getting multiple catch and shoot opportunities off our sets. So then when we do go to the pick and roll packages for them, that they've already been dangerous in other areas. So really just being total basketball players with or without the basketball. And I think those three complement each other well. We'll be able to do that.
Coach Mullin, back to the defensive end, and of course, as I thought about your career, I wondered, wow, what kind of defensive player was Chris Mullin? And at some point, when you're trying to, when you hear coaches talk about the toughest thing is to get freshmen to learn how to play defense, or even in college, what was that experience like for you, where you had so much offensive skill over the course of your career? What did Luke Carnesecca teach you about defense? Do you ever harken back to that experience where all of a sudden that's an area of the floor that had to be emphasized and you had to get at least adequate or strong in?
Yeah, well, first you got to be upfront on what your strengths and weaknesses are, right? So I wasn't the quickest player. In turn, with my feet, but I had good hands. So I wasn't going to be the guy guarding the ISO, quick guard. But if I knew the schemes and understood where I was supposed to be all the time, and I was always in the right place, I boxed out, let my guy get multiple rebounds and things like that, you're effective. And that's kind of what we have to do with our guys. We got, different size guards, different body types. So you really have to be, high IQ, understand where your responsibilities are. That's why we drill every day. Our defensive schemes, our responsibilities, and then of course to end the defensive possession, you got to rebound.
Coach, how are you feeling personally in terms of in your third year as a head coach, in terms of growth, in terms of comfort, in terms of just anything personally, in terms of how you connect with these guys on the court, on and off the court? Do you feel different? Is there anything that you can kind of share with the viewers in terms of just your personal growth as a coach?
Yeah, I just think just having guys around, it's hard to have a connection and chemistry when you meet someone for the first day,
Right.
and even the first year. That would be, I think, somewhat superficial to think that established, relationship happens that quickly, or else to me it would be some of a phony relationship.
Right.
So to have guys around, they get to know me, I get to know them, after wins, after losses, on days off. That's really what a relationship's about. That's what a team's about. So having some continuity with our players coming back is important. Yeah, of course, understanding our philosophies and things we're going to do on the court. But really, as important for a team is getting to know each other, having that trust, being able to, give and take with the guys, shortcomings on a given day, and when you start doing that, that kind of develops team chemistry, something that just takes time. I know this day and age, that's like unheard of. Like, would you ever really
kids
take?
Are different now.
Well, not only the kids, but I think in general, our society, would you actually sit down and talk to somebody?
Right.
That sounds like a
novel concept.
Yeah, but that's, maybe in business it is, but I know one thing, when you're building a team, it's integral, and it takes time. It just does, and I know that's not what people want to hear, but that's the way it is.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, talk about your front line. Everyone talks about the backcourt, which makes sense, dynamic backcourt in Pons and Levette. Some people say the front court is thin. Tariq Owens, top shot blocker in the Big East last year. You add a guy like Marvin Clark. How does that look to you in terms of the development of the front line and that interior defensive presence?
Yeah, I think thin would be an appropriate characteristic of Tariq.
Yeah.
But effective.
Right.
He does it a different way. He's very versatile. Like you said, defensively, he's really, really high IQ guy. Always knows where to be, directs people, is a very great communicator. He's going to block shots. He's going to deflect balls and just always be in the right place. So he's going to do some good things for us like he has already. We're going to play some Bashir on the front line with Marvin Clark, who's a new addition. And then Kasum Yakwe, I think we're expecting big things from him, a nice rebound year. I told Kasum, just rebound the ball. Everything else will fall in place. So with those four guys, I think we can really, maybe do it a different way than maybe some traditional teams. But I like it. I like the versatility. I like the athleticism. Again, we're going to have to rebound by committee, but I think we can do it.
Coach Mullin, all the best. Thank you. It starts in about 2 weeks.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Coach Chris Mullin here joining us as he gets started with his third season coaching his alma mater, the Basketball Hall of Famer, here at Basketball Media Day here at St. John's Arena. Still to come.